Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of the Top Down Shooter series. So today we'll create basic movement for our player and we'll also make our player look at our mouse. So right now I'm creating a basic Unity project. So I'm going to choose 2D and I'm going to make the project name Top Down Shooter game tutorial, and I'm going to even put it in a proper repository, so you should do the same. Okay, so now that I have Unity opened up, a new project in Unity opened up, I'm going to create a new folder called scripts and also a new folder called sprites. Okay, so now I'm going to add in a new sprite and call it and make it a circle, and I'm going to call it a player. So that's just going to be the current player sprite. Okay, so I'm going to drag that into the inspector, and I'm going to add in a rigid body and turn the gravity scale to 0, and also going to constraints and freeze the rotation on the Z axis. Okay, so now I'm going to create a new script and call it PlayerMovement. This will take care of all of our player movement and the player sprite pointing to our mouse. So I'm just going to quickly create the script. Okay, there you go. There's the player movement script. I'm going to drag that into the scripts folder. Okay, so now that now I'm going to double click and open it up in Visual Studio Code. Now you can use Visual Studio, but I'm using Visual Studio Code because I like it better and it's less heavier. Okay, so just quickly open it up in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so now I'm gonna remove the start and the update function, and I'm gonna add a serialized field float speed. And if you don't know what serialized field is, just check the description. I put many docs. I put helpful documents down there. So I'll just create a move speed and I'll default it to 10f, which is the default for float. Okay, so then now I'm just going to create a private, no, not a private, I'll just create a rigid body 2D RB, and then in void awake, I'm going to assign the rigid body, so I'm going to do RB is equal to get component of type rigid body 2D. Okay, so I'll just quickly do that. Okay, so yeah. So now that I've done that, I'm gonna go and make a few more variables. So I'm gonna create two vector 2's. One is gonna be responsible for the movement, and the second one is gonna be responsible for the mouse position of our player. Okay, so I'll just quickly make the two vectors. So there's the movement one, and okay, there's the mouse position one. There you go. Okay, so now that you've done that, I'm just gonna create a update and a fixed update. Again, if you don't know what fixed update is, just check the description. There are like many helpful documents there. So now I'm just gonna make set movement.x because vector 2 has two values. So the x will be equal to input.get access raw, and I'll just set it to horizontal, and I'll do the same thing for the y and just set it to vertical. Okay, so now this is the basic movement. So if for the update, now let's do something for the mouse. So now I'm just gonna make the move position is equal to camera.main.screen to world point. And if you don't know what that is, it just changes our camera from pixel to world, from screen to world. And I'm just gonna make our move position do that, our mouse position. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the fixed update, and in the fixed update it's actually for calculation. So I'm just gonna finalize our movement. So I'm gonna do rigid body dot move position, and I'm just gonna do the position is equal to the position plus the movement multiplied by the move speed, and then multiplied by time dot fixed delta time, because we are in fixed update, so we cannot just use delta time. Then for the for the player to look at us, we're gonna make a new vector 2 and call it look direction, and then I'll make it equal to move position minus RB position, and that will give us another vector. So then we want to make a new float and call it the mouse angle, and make it of mathf.attan2, and for attan2 you have to use look direction dot y first instead of z. Just a little weird, so just put them, and now the answer we get will be in radians, so we just do mathf.rad 2 degrees to make it into make it into a degrees, and then I'll finally make RB dot rotation equal to mouse angle. So now back in Unity. Okay, so now that we have already added the player movement script, we can go and hit play, and now you won't be able to actually properly see the movement, though you can see it in the scene view. Let's just do a little more work for the next episode and make a new empty game object and call it the gun holder, and under that let's just create a temporary sprite for a gun. We're gonna change it later, we're gonna polish everything, so I'm just gonna call it temp gun 1 or just gun, and I'm gonna drag that onto the gun holder. Now I'm gonna scale it down and move it forward. There you go. Okay, I'll make it a 0.5 and a 0.45, or just 0.45, and then I'm gonna play the game. So as you guys can see now, we can point, so the player points to our mouse. I know it's lagging a little here because my PC isn't that powerful. You shouldn't lag like this. And now you can even, as you guys can see, we can even move our player around. Sorry for the lag, my PC isn't good at all. Okay, so now that we have paused this, so now that we have done this will be the end of the episode for today. So I'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.